But Madhav, what would you really say now the elections have got over? I mean, the Lok Sabha elections have got over. After that, we had Haryana, then Maharashtra, now Delhi elections. Many people say the Delhi elections could also have been rigged. Now, whether the rigging was happening through EVM, whether the rigging was happening through the voters list, because lots of names were added, deleted randomly, lots of, it seems, the bylaws and the laws which could have been followed, they seem to have, just been thrown to the winds. So what is your feeling now, that how serious is this issue of EVM manipulation, and does it really need to be tackled with urgency by the court?
Yes, it does need to. And I'll take this opportunity to highlight one more thing. See, another problem that in these directives about verifying the EVMs is that we are missing the point of data consistency. In data science, or anybody who deals with data, there are two more very important things. One is integrity of data, and second is consistency of data. Now, what happens is, when you are giving the Form 20 to candidates after the voting, that Form 20 its granularity is at the polling booth level. So Form 20 tells every candidate how many votes each candidate got at a particular booth. Now, typically a booth has about 3 EVMs at least. So in the interest of establishing that there was no malfunction or there was no hanky-panky, what needs to be done is this same granularity has to be established at the EVM level also. You can't say that out of the 3 EVMs, you will take one. You have the rule of 5%. Fine, I understand that. But then when you pick up one EVM, you know, because of the number and the Form 17C, you know exactly which booth it came from. Get all the EVMs from that booth, count all the votes in all the EVMs, add them up, check, cross-verify those with the VVPAT slips, and establish that Form 20 and all the EVMs at that booth have the same number. That is where you're establishing the data consistency. Currently, we are not doing that. I'll tell you why this is important. And there's another problem related to that as well. What happens is, Election Commission has said in one of their documents that it maintains 2 copies in the control unit. When I asked about RTI, about these 2 copies in an RTI, I haven't got any response whatsoever worth mentioning. So now the point is, when these copies are made, we are not aware. If we don't know whether these 2 copies are identical or not. We do not know whether the same copies are being shown at every time, or are different copies being shown. For the result, one copy is shown, and for verification, another copy is shown. All these things, the Election Commission has to come clean on this. And till they do, the only way to establish that is establish data consistency, so that even the candidates know that, okay, my Form 20 shows me 600 votes in a particular booth, and either all the 3 EVMs put together are showing me 600. If they show me 599 or 601, I can legitimately say that there is some fraud that has happened. The Supreme Court has to...
But Madhav, looking at the way the things are happening and the manner in which Election Commission has been dealing with these pertinent questions related to EVM, you yourself said that you filed RTIs, but you haven't got very convincing answers on this. And there seemingly is an opacity around this whole issue, and Election Commission, deliberately or not deliberately, we do not know, but they don't seem to be responding to these questions. What do you think is a major reason, and are you convinced enough that EVMs are being tampered by the present regime in a big way?
See, as I said, I've been saying this, that they can be manipulated. Now I am more and more convinced that the entire process is being manipulated. I mean, as you said,
process, what does it all include?
It includes the voter list. It is not transparent. Why is it that I can't see who are the voters all over India? What's wrong? I mean, right. Anybody before election, before the voting day, anybody comes to me with a sheet of paper where there is my name. So if anybody says that this is privacy of information, it is laughable. Anybody on the road has those. I mean, people whom I don't even know have my name in that list. So why is it not on the Election Commission's website? Election Commission modifies their documents, and there is no archival retrieval system that you can go and check the old documents. So that there's another opacity there. Third opacity is that I'll tell you, I had asked in an RTI how many, very specific question, how many booths in Maharashtra did not have phone coverage in 2024 election. And the response came to me from DOT, Department of Telecommunication, and it is a 60-page list of booths, 60 pages. Even if you assume each page has 50 names of places, that means at least 300. I had asked not the booths, the villages. At least 300 villages in Maharashtra don't have any cell phone coverage. Now, the Department of Telecommunication knows this. Election Commission and government says that we are digitized. So the left hand is not aware of what right hand is doing. Now, this probably is it probably works conveniently for all the people in power, not necessarily a particular party, everybody. And even the administrators, I mean the IS officers and MPSC or whatever you have, state commissions, for everybody who is in the power. When I say power, it doesn't necessarily mean only political power. So it's convenient because nobody is held responsible. But then I expect, that's why we expect as common citizens, the courts to stand up for us and say that, okay, we will protect our citizens. That's what the court should do. And that is what is not happening. For the first time, this time it seems that court has at least started thinking on the right lines that yes, this data cannot be deleted because it is a primary evidence and because it can probably tell us a few stories.
You do feel satisfied that at least the courts now have begun to acknowledge that there is something wrong, seriously, with the way the EVMs are handled?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And if I were to use a poem, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, and miles to go before I sleep. So
Absolutely.
This is only a first step. There are miles.
Right. But another thing, Madhav, and that is related to the cost of the EVM verification, and regarding which, again, there is a direction by the Supreme Court to the Election Commission that please bring down the costs. Now, the very fact that the cost of the EVM verification was exorbitant, was this a deliberate process by the Election Commission to discourage any sort of verification, which can come in the way?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. And I do believe that, yes, it is a deterrent. I mean, if somebody, and fundamentally, in my view, levying any cost is undemocratic because then you are creating a class. You're creating a class distinction. Poor will not get justice. Poor will not be heard. Somebody, a very honest person trying to be people's representative, will not be heard because he or she will not have 40,000 rupees per machine. So you're saying that poor don't have access to justice. So in my view, Supreme Court should just abolish all this cost completely. Anybody and everybody should be given this access free. I mean, not people of India, but those who have contested. Because there are poor who contest. If we say that no, poor do not contest, then again we are saying that, okay, only the rich can contest. Even then there is a problematic statement.
No, but after this direction to the Election Commission regarding the cost of, regarding bringing down the cost of the verification, what do you think is going to happen? Will Election Commission come up with some fresh guidelines regarding the cost? Or will they, or some notification, or will the courts now impose a cost and they will say that, no, this is the final cost? What are you expecting in terms of bringing down the cost of the EVM verification?
As I said, my honest expectation would be court should just say that, no, there are no costs involved at all. Okay. You have created the machine anyway. These engineers are being paid anyway. See, tell me why there should be a cost. The engineers are employed by the two organizations, Bharat Electronics and ECIL. The Election Commission has taken the deposits, security deposits for the election. Those from that there may be some XYZ interest that they might have got till some time, for some time, and the machines have already been made. There's nothing to be made new. So whatever is existing, that has to be examined, and that is during the duty time of those 2 engineers or 4 engineers or 6 engineers, whatever, for which they are already being paid. So except for the travel cost of those engineers, what else is there to be paid for? Mm. And why should the Election Commission not pay for their travel? So, because it is Election Commission's duty to make sure that everybody feels that the process has been fair. The reason why people want this verification is because they genuinely believe that the process hasn't been fair.
Right. True.
So I don't see any reason why there should be a cost at all.
Right. Okay, now on my last bit before I wind up the interview, and that's coming back to the appointment of the new CEC. Rajiv Kumar is supposed to retire on 18th February. The next hearing on this entire petition, which was filed, is on February 19th. What happens? What is your biggest worry if the government goes ahead and appoints a new CEC before 19th of February?
Frankly, I don't know, because I'm not so much worried, because I don't think anything different would happen before 19th or later. Clearly, the panel that is supposed to recommend the name is heavily in favor of the government anyway. Even if the sole third member of the panel opposes fully, it's 2-1 anyway. So I don't know why we should worry. I mean, on date particularly, we need to be worried about the composition of the panel, which the government changed the last time, for which we need to worry, because now it's a mockery of having a panel.
Right.
So I'm not really worried about this 19th, frankly.
Okay, so we'll have to wait and watch how things unfold regarding the directions which Supreme Court gave the Election Commission yesterday. That hearing is scheduled for 17th of March. And the appointments of the CEC and the EC's hearing, which was supposed to happen today, is now slated for 19th February. So we'll have to wait and watch how things unfold. Thank you so much, Madhav, for joining on HW. Thank you.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.